we are publishing a brand new 1,000-mile east-west route across Oregon via Onyx Off-Road. But before we can launch it, we have to make sure it works. So my best buddy Chris and I are 2 days into a trip to fix broken sections of the route, make sure it's drivable for all of you, and then release the route. However, we run into some major obstacles that make us rethink, reroute, and regroup. This route will be available exclusively on Onyx Off-Road, an affordable, easy to use, and powerful off-road and off-grid mapping tool. Click on the link in the description to save 20% on your annual subscription. The morning at Diamond Lake was slightly less dreary than the night before. Our tents were soaked from the rain, but the skies were looking clearer, and we were optimistic about the day ahead.
Enjoy.
Oh, thank you, sir. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good morning. It's cold and dreary here at Diamond Lake. I have stitched together a few routes because I think it's the only way through this section of Oregon. And these few routes, a few of them already exist on Onyx. And so we're going to go drive them and see what they're like. And we're going to be on like little pieces of them and then connect to other pieces as we make our way towards Roseburg. As we get farther west, it gets more densely populated. There's more paved roads. The wild places are fewer and far between, so the routing gets a little more difficult, but we're up for the challenge, and it's going to be an awesome day. Even if it's a little muddy, a little wet, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Hey Chris, do you want to go check out the lake for a second as long as we're here?
Yeah, how far away is it?
It's like right here. Then yes.
This route takes you near both Diamond Lake and Crater Lake, two very different but very beautiful destinations worth your time to stop and enjoy. Diamond Lake is truly a gem in South Central Oregon. It's known for its pristine waters and fantastic rainbow trout fishing. However, in 2006, an invasive fish species took over the lake, so Fish and Game nuked it in 2007 and restocked it in 2008, and now the rainbow trout are flourishing once again. Surrounding the lake are 450 National Forest campsites, and who knows how many dispersed sites are in that area, but it's a lot. The area gets up to 700,000 visitors per year, but today, we were the only ones there. On a clear day, you can see Mount Thiessen's 9,300-foot peak to the east and Mount Bailey's 8,300-foot peak to the west. However, today wasn't a clear day, at least not yet anyway, so we kept moving.
All right, Chris, here's where we turn off. We should be on dirt now from here to Roseburg.
Oh, dirt, how I've missed you.
The road leading north from Diamond Lake felt like a very common unmaintained dirt road. Some whoops and washouts, but nothing really to slow us down.
This road's a little bit wet, but it's a lot of fun.
No matter how old you get, puddles are always fun.
However, before too long, the trail conditions started changing significantly.
Hey Will, a little bit of snow wheeling.
Yeah, look at this.
Why don't we get out and take a walk and see what this looks like?
Sounds good.
Hey, Em, I want you to be real careful, buddy. Real careful, okay? Please don't do that. And the reason is if you fall and hit your head, bro, if you fall and hit your head, it's a long way to a hospital. As I fall and hit my head. So we just walked up and took a look at the trail, and it's pretty snowy. But it's a good snow. It's like a hard snow, not a soft spring snow. So spring snow I think is the worst to try to drive through because it can be soft on top and icy on bottom, but it's soft, hard, like soft, wet, heavy snow that can build up underneath your rig and high center you. And I don't think this snow is soft enough to do that. So we're gonna give it a go. It is pretty slick, so we have to be careful about traction, but it does look like it's just this one section for now anyway. That has a little bit of snow on it. And here, pretty soon we're gonna start losing elevation. So I'm hopeful that this is maybe our one snowy pass. Those are famous last words, but we're gonna give it a go. I'm 4 low, and I'm gonna go relatively slow. 1, because my son, Emerson, is out spotting me. 2, just because this is a good default mode in snow. There is a time to go fast and have momentum, but it's better to start, I think, with just kind of tried and true snow wheeling principles that I've learned so far, which is, you know, go slow to go fast. And so far it's working.
Well, we joked about snow wheeling, but here we are.
Yeah, but do you think that this is just a little patchy section, or do you think that we're going to have a lot more snow up there?
I think it's just a little patchy section.
I guess we'll enjoy the snow while we got it.
We quickly learned that patchy snow can be just as dangerous as anything else on the trail.
Whoa, you okay there, Chris? Saw you sliding a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little slick.
Traction was coming in sporadic patches of dirt, and anything on the snow was feeling very slick.
Well, we made it through that snowy part. Wasn't too bad. Chris had a little sliding, but nothing dangerous or cause for any concern. And now we're just hopefully back on relatively non-snowy roads as we push forward deeper into the Umpqua National Forest, I think is where we are. Pretty sure this is Umpqua National Forest, so beautiful.
Our plan was to take this short 3-mile connector to a well-known trail called 3 Lakes Road, which would then put us just behind Mount Bailey as we crossed some ridges on our way deep into the Cascades. This whole section of the route was only 30 miles, and on my mind, I thought it would only take us about 2 hours to complete. Boy, was I wrong about that.
It looks like it's opening up a little bit, Chris. A little bit less snow up here.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Well, I spoke too soon. There's more snow.
Our strategy was to keep at least one tire on the dirt whenever possible and to do our best to stay on the road so we didn't cause any damage. In addition to the snow, we were seeing trees down all around us as well.
Looks like we got a tree down.
Chainsaw?
Chainsaw. Okay, one tree taken care of, and we're back to the snow. Chris, we're coming up to a gnarly corner that is sloped into a tree.
Ooh. I'm just sliding down, my back's sliding down, so I'm trying to get reversed down here. You think this is the right move?
Do you want me to see about, do you need some traction boards?
Maybe. Hold on. "22 degrees, that's a little bit better."
Now you got 2 tires in the dirt. I don't know. Maybe a little bit less. Hey Will, try turning, try straightening them out. Straighten your tires out. Yeah, you are. You got about a foot. Are you locked? Are your rear locked? Okay, see if that gives you a little extra traction. But you know, hold on just a sec. Just a moment. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna work, man.
I don't know. I'm not.
It's just sliding so hard downhill.
Yeah, I think we had thought that if you did slide down here with the mud and the dirt, that you'd give you some extra traction. But what I'm seeing is that it's just kind of giving away and just kind of mounding up. So
how do you think we can get out of here without me bashing into this tree?
I think if you keep your wheels right where they are, and you just very slowly back out, I think you're going to be okay.
All right, keep an eye on me.
Okay, we'll do. You know what? You know what you could do is back it up, and get yourself more into that muddy area, and then point further uphill. Yeah, kind of like you're doing.
So I guess this is the question: is like, this is the turnaround point if we're gonna do it. Like, this is the corner that's we're either gonna get past or we're gonna turn around. So, you know, if I just aim like up that kind of, I don't know, vertex of the corner or whatever, try just to get high right there, it flattens out.
Yeah, I mean, you could give it a try, and it's going to want to pull you back down again.
Yeah.
But at least then you should be back beyond the trees.
Okay,
At least these trees right here, I guess.
Try. Maybe this was the line that we should have taken to begin with.
Yeah.
So let me just give it a shot, kind of up and over that, and see what happens.
Okay, and if you want to, you could even, you have more room over here if you want to get both your rear wheels on dirt.
Yeah.
I think you can.
Okay.
So. Channing your Scottish heritage with the caber toss. Okay, just crawl it, Will. Just crawl it.
Give my truck a rest.
Give you a rest too.
Were you stressed out watching that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Em was full on like, Daddy, we should go home. And I had a moment of that too. But I understand the snow a little bit better than I used to.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
The reason I'm more comfortable in the snow is because this year I practiced more than ever. I learned a ton in the Canadian mountains with my friend Nate from Dirt Lifestyle. Then Chris, Lance, and I hit the mountains of Idaho with Rob from Revere Overland and David from Off the Grind. Then we finished off the winter with a trip in the mountains above the Salmon River. So while I'm not an expert yet, I'm much better at snow wheeling than I was before.
I would say, yeah, aim up and give the beans.
All right, here it goes.
Made it. Well done, Chris.
I don't see what the big deal was, Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say.
I know.
Actually,
it
was hard for you. I mean, it's still a little pucker even with tracks through it.
Yeah, it really is. And yeah, thanks for breaking trail and being the guinea pig and the sacrificial lamb and all the above.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
As we inched our way forward, we kept getting deeper, both figuratively and literally.
So this is a type 1 recovery, and in the Factor 55 book they say for type 1 have about 6 feet of slack. Well, this is pretty close to that, probably. Yeah. Maybe a little bit less. We don't need much. I just need to get bumped out of the snow just a little bit. So Chris is gonna give me a little tug and we'll hopefully get unstuck.
There will be no rub.
All that winter camping and winter driving we did I'm really grateful for it because it makes me understand how to drive this stuff better.
Yeah, it really does. Gives a lot of perspective to it. I think there was a time when we would have just contemplated turning back.
Oh, 100% we would have turned back.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, wait a minute. I think if I try this and this and this, I'll get grip and yeah.
And it's working great.
Hey, Will, this is a lot of snow, man. We've gone from patches of snow to just full snow. What do you think? Should we air down a little bit more? That's never a bad idea.
At this point, things were going in the exact opposite direction that we had hoped for in terms of how much snow is on the trail. Our dirt patches were now gone, and we had to enter into full-on snow wheeling mode. We were up for the challenge, but it felt like we had to earn every inch of this trail.
You good? Yeah? Yep, I got it. Now I'm stuck. I'm gonna need another tug, if you don't mind. I will give you a tug, but not a rub.
It was a good thing I packed my Factor 55 recovery gear because we had to recover each other multiple times, sometimes twice in one setting. We were also being overly cautious using our gear because things can go bad quickly if you're trying to go too fast.
So Chris has got himself into a bit of a pickle. He's gonna self-recover down here with his winch.
Every time I try and go backward or forward, it just pulls me further into this bank. Yeah. Or into this ditch, I guess. Yeah. So it's not, yeah, it's just kind of an untenable position. So,
well, there's some good anchors.
Yeah.
Over here, some good trees that you can anchor to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull to that one because I think it's at the angle that I want to be.
Chris and I are an awesome team, and we problem solve together really well too. So this wasn't anything to stop our day. However, at some point, we had to recognize the proverbial writing on the wall.
Well, I don't know. We started at 8 o'clock or something, and it's now past 1 p.m. and we've gone a total of 3 miles today. So I got some relatively bad news.
What's that?
This is the intersection up there, and it's just more of this. It's totally covered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a good couple feet on it. I even wonder if it's closed and we just didn't know it, like we didn't catch it on the MVUM map or something, that it's closed to motor vehicles. We can get out if we take a left. We can go, it's like 2 miles back to like a highway road kind of a thing.
Oh, okay. So that sounds way better than turning around and going all the way back.
Yeah,
that would just be
I think we would just go.
brutal.
I think we can bypass that. I think that's what we should do, Chris.
Yeah.
Because it would take us weeks and we might get stranded and we might be breaking the law inadvertently.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, is we don't want to be doing that. We want to be responsible. So
What do you think, Em?
Well, I did my research and it's snow, like probably like maybe 5 inches of snow the whole way to Roseburg.
Oh, the whole way? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we're on
it's the
more than
whole way.
5 inches right now.
It's the whole way.
Okay. All right. Let's get out of here then.
The plan of action was to take a left where our connector trail met up with Three Lakes Road and then loop back towards pavement to regroup and figure out what to do next. But that's not what happened.
Will, how you doing up there? Not good. I am crab walking this thing right now. From my perspective, you're going from bad to worse, man. Yeah, I am hanging off the edge of the road right now. Why don't we just hook up your winch? Oh, wait. I'm just going to try to get turned around, Chris.
But with no winch, turning around was not easy. In fact, we turned the cameras off for the next 45 minutes while we did it with shovels and traction boards. It was so bad that Chris didn't even want to try it.
There's not really any good places to turn around, so I'm just going to try and back out. Chris, I think the best thing to do now is to turn around and just backtrack all the way out. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, man. This is going nowhere fast.
Chris has come to his senses and he's turning around, but it's really sketchy either direction, so you might as well be facing into the wind when you're driving through this stuff. So we're trying to get him turned around. He's having a much better time turning around than I did.
It was now midday and the sun had warmed up the snow to the point that it was baseless slush. Even just turning around was impossible without traction boards under the tires for every inch. That meant that almost as soon as Chris left the traction boards, we had to reset them before he slid off the road again. And we needed to get him both turned around as well as situated on top of the slope of the road where it was just a little bit flatter. It felt like 2 hours of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we were making progress, slowly but surely. And after what seemed like an eternity, Chris got situated in the right spot and can drive without slipping down the hill.
Thanks for the help. I got some momentum, so I'm just going to keep creeping along if that's okay.
With Chris not able to help, I was hoping I could get out of the spot without needing to call him back. Luckily, I'm running the Method bead grip wheels, which allow me to air down much farther than Chris. So I put them down to 6 PSI and hope for the best. And even though I couldn't climb to the top of the slope and was crab walking the trail, I wasn't sliding down toward the ravine at the edge anymore. And before too long, I was headed in the right direction behind Chris.
What a day, man. Once we get back to paved roads, let's have a talk about what we're doing tonight.
Sounds good.
I just want to throw this out as an option. It could be a stay in a hotel type of night. Whew, boy, we started at 8 today, I think. It's 4 o'clock now. And we've done nothing but like go 3 miles and come back. So all I want to do is make sure we get back okay, and then we will assess what we're going to do about this route, and then assess what we're going to do about tonight. All right, so I know now why the roads were in such bad shape. It's because we shouldn't have driven on them in the first place. So we make mistakes just like everybody else, and we made a big mistake turning on this road in the first place. We came back, we're airing up just at the trailhead, and we saw the sign that says no motorized vehicles allowed. I think we're still in the winter season. Honestly, that didn't show up on the MVUM stuff on the map, but you can't trust that, you know? Like, I should have called the forest station, and I should have done a little bit more research on those roads to know that they were actually open. And we should have probably got a clue about 2 miles in when they were so snowed over. So anyway, I learned from my mistakes, double check all that stuff. If you get into a gnarly trail and it's early spring, late spring, early summer, then, you know, maybe ask yourself, should I be on this trail in the first place? Because we should not have been on that trail.
Man, I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. I think we just take the highway to Roseburg, lick our wounds, and get a hotel tonight.
So that's exactly what we did. Roseburg is known as the timber capital of the nation. It sits right on the Umpqua River and at 524 feet above sea level feels very different from Diamond Lake and the Cascades, something we discover in droves the next day. Okay, so here we are in Roseburg, Oregon. We made it to the Holiday Inn Express tonight. We just needed to reset so we can hit the trail hard for the next few days. Our plan is to start again tomorrow morning and make sure that we map the section from Roseburg to Florence. Because that needs to be mapped as well. And then with any extra time we have left over, we'll come back and start traveling from Roseburg back to Diamond Lake as far as we can until we hit snow. So we can still get as much documented as possible. I'm hoping for more progress tomorrow, but at the very least we had fun doing trail work today, even though we made some stupid mistakes like we shouldn't have been on the trail to begin with. But you lick your wounds, you regroup, you have an old fashioned, and you start again tomorrow. Cheers. Cheers. See you tomorrow. The next morning, we started at a place that was literally 80 miles from Diamond Lake, but felt like we were in a different world altogether. It was almost the polar opposite from the day before. Welcome to the Umpqua River. This morning, we woke up in Roseburg. We had a nice slow morning. We had a beautiful drive on about 20 miles of paved roads. I'm really excited to map this part of the trip because it's one that we have a personal connection to. So when Kate grew up, her grandparents lived on this river, and they had a place that was right on the riverfront. The connection to this part of Oregon and the connection to Eastern Oregon, where Chris and I grew up, are really the reasons that we wanted to put this route together in the first place. So I'm super excited to drive across this bridge and see what's on the other side.
I'm hoping we see some dirt roads on the other side of this bridge. Yeah, there's been a lot of paved roads out here in the middle of nowhere. We're still unpaved, man. I wonder if these forest roads are going to be paved all the way through. Yeah, I feel a little bit guilty being on paved roads, but not too guilty. This is just beautiful.
We were entering the Coast Mountain Range, which is the last range before hitting the Oregon coast and the Pacific Ocean. This mountain range is over 60 million years old and provides a rain shadow between the Willamette Valley and the Pacific Ocean, something we'd see firsthand by the end of the day. This part of Oregon is a temperate rainforest, and the lush green canopy filters the sunlight, keeping everything cool and wet all year long.
Man, the forest canopy is so thick in here.
It also creates a natural green hue on all the light underneath.
It's like a different light because it's screened by the tree branches. You definitely know that you're in Western Oregon in this area. Like all that ground cover and everything, this is just so different than Eastern Oregon.
For us Southwestern Idaho boys, this place feels exotic, but that's mostly because it is exotic, no matter the road type.
There's a truck coming,
Ooh, that was a close call.
So we've been enjoying this drive, even though it's been on mostly paved Forest Service roads and paved logging roads. It's still just so beautiful. And you know, we're making this route not to be the most extreme, not to be the most like 4-wheel drive, test your rig. We're making it to be a beautiful like love letter to Oregon, seeing some of the most beautiful parts of Oregon that maybe people don't get to see very often. So it's kind of like something for everybody, but what it has throughout are just incredible places, incredible views. And we pulled up to this little stump town here, and we decided to just stop and have a little bite to eat. So Chris, what do you think about our little lunch spot?
Well, it's funny because like on the face, it's like this clear cut area where you pull up to it and you're like, yeah, it doesn't look that great. But at the same time, it just like opens up these areas so you can see, you know, just this beautiful panorama like around us. You had pointed out to me earlier that, you know, they've planted all these little trees and stuff. So even though like they're logging it and clear cutting it, you know, it feels like it's really healthy and like the forest around here is really thriving.
Man, you can see forever. We just don't have green like this back where we're from. I feel like we're getting into like Jurassic Park territory. Beware the velociraptor. I've stopped caring that we're on paved roads, Chris.
These tree canopies are just unreal.
It's hard to describe what it feels like to be in the middle of this forest. Something about it feels almost unreal, almost otherworldly, almost spiritual. As you get deeper into the mountains, everything is dialed up. The colors, the smells, the vibrations of living things. It's a place that almost makes you feel like you could live forever. So I just stopped in the middle of this forest and had to get out and just say something because it's like nothing that we really have in Idaho. It feels like you're at the Rainforest Cafe. It's like all the trees are covered with moss and there's just so much moisture, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like dripping humidity or anything like that. It's just feels like alive, like everything is thriving here. And I just love that feeling, you know? Oregon has deserts where it feels like nothing is living. And then places like this where it's like everything is alive. It's just so cool to experience both.
This is Oregon. This is the Oregon that I never knew.
The last bit of the route through the Coast Range slowly winds you progressively toward the coast. And as we went, I felt sad to go. Something about this particular range really spoke to me.
It looks like we're coming to the end of this section of forest, Chris. Can't wait to see what's up next.
The route takes you very near Loon Lake, a great place to stop if you're reluctant to leave like me and looking for a place to spend the night. The route then exits into the Umpqua Highway and you wind your way along the river as you draw closer to the coast.
Well, we made it to the beach, kind of. Oregon has changed for us once again. So we got into the Silt Coos area. We're just here at the trail that leads into the sand camping spot. And two things happened. The forecast says there's no rain in the forecast for the next 10 days, and it's very rainy. And then I was looking at the weather, and there's a severe weather advisory. It's not for rain or anything. It's for a late season huge swell that's come in. It's going to hit tonight and run through tomorrow with 16 to 20 foot waves. And they're basically saying like, just stay away from the beach. And this campground is completely deserted. There's nobody here in any of the spots. We're going to listen to what's going on around us and not camp here tonight. No ocean beach camping, but this is a great way to end the trip. Normally, you come to the beach, watch the sunset over the waves, but we are not going to stay here in Silt Coos. We're going back to Roseburg, so let's go.
Chris, the temperature has risen by 10 degrees. We have clear skies, and I think we're going to find a great camp spot tonight. You know what? You can't go wrong up here. We're going to find something amazing. I know it.
I was happy to be in the mountains outside of Roseburg. If I'm honest, I was kind of hoping we'd be able to camp out here to begin with. The campsite we found wasn't perfect, but it had a great view, and it was flat enough to get a comfortable night's sleep. And after 2 very long days, we were looking forward to taking it easy at camp. Chris was on deck to make dinner, and he pulled out the Otzi grill and was working on some sort of Korean pork concoction that smelled amazing.
Chris, what are you making?
So we're going to do the pork chops first. Then I'm actually going to put the veggies in with a marinade.
Oh.
And once we take the pork off, we'll grill the veggies on the Otzi here. So
This Otzi grill has gotten so much use.
it has. It's getting. You guys can tell it's getting a little work.
In the best possible way.
Yes.
Okay, here it is. We've got the green beans and green onions roasted over the Otzi, kimchi, this Korean marinated pork, and then some Korean barbecue sauce just kind of drizzled over the top. This looks so good, Chris.
Hope you like it.
You know, it's just so dang good. Just so good with the view, with birds chirping in the background. It all makes it taste better, but this is good on its own, man.
Nice.
dab for him, a dash for me, and we will toast and another epically long, awesome day where we built more of this Oregon route for all of you. Well, cheers, man. Cheers to another long day on the trail, but to connecting the dots, to making this route, and to having a great time doing it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so spicy, but so good. I'm just gonna sit here and look at the view until it goes dark, and I'm gonna look at the fire.
Yeah. We are in the perfect spot too, because the smoke is
It's blowing right in my face.
yeah.
I smell like a mountain man.
We were 4 days in, and one major step closer to finishing this route. But with much of Oregon now explored, we weren't expecting that some of the very best was still to come.